Good morning. Welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and everything's going haywire this morning. I don't know what's going on. It must be Mercury. I think it is Mercury retrograde. And we've got the eclipse, and we've got all kinds of lovely things happening. My streaming service didn't want to cooperate there for a while. Got it up and working just in the nick of time. Looks like we got lots of people here. Good morning, everyone. All right, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you something that I just learned, and it's pretty cool. Also, let's see, we're going to get some thoughts over coffee about the eclipse. Eclipse thoughts. And then we'll take some questions. Okay. Looks like we got about an hour. So I don't really have any gentel. I didn't have time for that. I've been doing healings and emails and all kinds of readings this week. So this morning I spent my time catching up on emails. Okay. Got them all done as of about an hour ago. So if you have purchased a healing or anything and have not emailed me your name or the name of the individual and the pictures, do that, because I've gotten through everybody who has. So check your emails for any scheduling or confirmation that I received your information. Okay. So what shall we talk about today? Let's do thoughts over coffee first. And it's short thoughts, until I have another. This whole eclipse thing. Every time we got something, like back in 2012 when the Mayan calendar ended, everybody freaked the hell out. My mother even had us come to her house and wanted everybody in the same room in case we were all to perish at that time. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. They're not going anywhere. I would not plan to come here and not accomplish much. Would you? So, I do not think we're all going to perish. We might see some weather patterns and some strange things going on. I think most of it is other operations going on that they will use the eclipse as cover for. So they'll blame everything on the eclipse. Now, why would there be so many fearful stories out there right now? Why are there always fearful stories? But I've seen a trend with that. From the information I receive and what I see going on, it just seems like every time they're losing really bad or about to lose really bad, what they do to the public worldwide is hype up something so everyone's afraid. Pandemic, all kinds of things. And now we got this eclipse. Oh my God, run around, scream, the sky is falling, the eclipse is coming. Okay, well, we've had many eclipses. I know this might be a special one. But why would they want to do that? Well, we know that the dark side and all the really bad people, whether they're conscious of it or not, and I believe they are, they need you to be scared. They can't have everybody all happy and joyful and hopeful and everything else. And they need to feed off of that negative energy. It's annoying to them. As the collective energy vibration starts rising, where are they going to pull their energy from? So they create an event, or they use an event, an upcoming event, and put all the hype out on the internet. And then everybody takes the cues. Oh, yes, this is scary. Everything. Let's blame everything on the eclipse. Be scared, stay home. And so that collective fear basically fuels their army. Well, I refuse to buy into it. I mean, I think that, we will see some things, weather patterns, earthquakes, things like that going on with. I think there's more to those earthquakes, by the way. You know that. Um, but everything, I mean, major catastrophes and things like that, if it happens, I didn't see it. I don't see it coming. I see a little bit here, a little bit there, and a little bit here, but I do see a lot of hype to get everybody afraid again. And they've been testing the waters to see what really scares you. And a lot of it's not working anymore. All right, let's do some cosmic event that nobody has any power over. Let's scare them with that, because we really need to feed off this negative energy. We need, the collective vibration's getting too high. Okay, and so what they'll do is they'll do that, and then somehow they're more powerful. And that's when I see that happening, it just tells me they're losing in a big way. And something good's about to happen. So, just take a look around, be aware of your surroundings. But I wouldn't run around and scream and tell everybody the sky is falling. Because I believe the day will come on the 8th. And then there will be a 9th, and a 10th, and 11th. And life goes on after the eclipse. There will be storms. I feel like there's going to be quite a few storms around the country coming. So prepare yourself. If you're in an area, take a look at your weather report. Strap things down, prepare for a storm. But particularly like tornadoes, middle to east part of the United States is what I'm kind of seeing right now. So be careful and ready for that. And like Mike Barra said yesterday on our show on Real News Live on Rumble, we could see things like hurricanes spark up from something like this. The moon always messes with the tide, so we could see things in the ocean going on. But I don't think that the world's going to blow up and we'll all cease to exist. No. Okay. We got to stop buying into the fear. Got to stop buying into that. Stop fueling the enemy's army. Okay. Speaking of vibration, so the other day, God, I don't know if it was Monday or Easter. It wasn't quite Easter. I think it was Monday. I was just feeling kind of low, Now, it could have been hormones, but I talked to other people, and they were feeling kind of low too. And I'm like, oh, it's probably the energies. It's probably the energies. Or maybe everything's just, it's been a long road. Everybody's had to be strong for a long time, and ever so often you'll have that day where you're just not feeling it. You're just not as strong as you usually are. And that happens. But I was talking to Archangel Michael, and I'm like, do I have attachment? I mean, what the hell's going on with me? I was running negative thoughts through my mind about old stuff, family members. And I'm like, that's usually a sign that somebody's influencing me. Got something bad guy around. It's like, hey, remember this? Remember when this totally broke your heart? Remember when this pissed you off? And it's really not like me to do that anymore. Gotta learn not to do that. I used to do that a lot. But so I was talking to him, and I'm like, blast me. All right, cut the cords of attachment. And he's like, all right, touch the sword. So I touch the sword. I'm like, okay, if I can touch the sword, I have no attachments. And I said, hey, could you give me like a boost? Like, could you raise my vibration back up? Because I feel like it's low. I feel like it's fallen. And hi, Susan. I see you there. I feel like it's fallen. And he looks at me and he says, yes. And so then it was a trip. It was a trip what happened. Because normally I see this like blast of light when he blasts me, you know? And you can always do that. You can always ask Archangel Michael to blast you. Because he can cut through all that pain, all that confusion, all that misinformation and all, and blast away whatever's trying to influence you. So I close my eyes and I'm like, raise my vibration. And so it's really neat. He looked at me and his eyes are like just, oh my God, his eyes are just like piercing blue. Like really blue on the inside and dark around the edges. And he said, I saw all this light come into me down through the top of my head, but also from all around me. It was like I was sucking it up from all around me, not taking it from anything else, but just like from the environment. And I got really bright, and he said, rise. And then I repeated it. I said, rise. And then I saw, like mind's eye, this light within me, like vibrating faster and faster, like the molecules of it just moving faster and faster and faster and getting brighter and brighter, just like a water in a pot when it boils, it starts to move really fast. And then after that, I was like, oh, that was cool. And I went about my business and I was just like, and pretty soon I'm talking about, la, la, la. I'm not having negative thoughts. And it just felt normal again. I felt a little bit higher than normal, you know, like a little bit better than normal, but not like, oh my God, I'm Superwoman now and I have all these powers. And it wasn't like that. It was just, it washed away all that crap. And then I was thinking, I'm like, why am I falling victim to this influence from something that's standing around? I mean, is it because it was Easter and all the family? I was thinking about the family members and all the family members, you know, old attachments said, oh, that's right, Jennifer, let's throw a nice big cord into her. Because that was always fun to mess with her. We haven't done that in a while. And I allowed it. And I'm thinking, okay, you know better than that. Don't do that. It was kind of more than that, though. And so I was thinking when he was getting rid of that, last, you know, giving me a good cleanse, I just had this thought, and I don't know if he sent it to me. He probably did. This is probably a teaching moment, wasn't it? Yeah. I had this thought, like, well, if my vibration was much higher, maybe they couldn't throw their cords into me, and maybe they couldn't mess with me so much. You know? And we all been through this. We've been through a time where it's really kind of hard to find the happiness, right? And I'm a person, I look for the happy. I look for comfort. I look for laughter. I look for happiness. I've always been that way. And if you're a friend of mine, I'm always going to make you laugh. Maybe a little too much. I'm always going to offer some advice, you know, and maybe that seems like a know-it-all, but I try not to be. But, you know, sometimes I give good advice. So, but it was kind of different on that day. And so what I would like to teach you to do, now you can do it the way that I did it. And call Archangel Michael and say, cleanse me, blast me, raise my vibration. But you have to participate in it. You have to want these things to be gone. You can't say, I want to be clean and positive, and then turn around in the next thought and still keep obsessing about the same things. You have to be done with it. You have to make a solid decision. That's when somebody can really cleanse you. Or the way I'm going to teach you to do it. So if you were to go to Archangel Michael, do just like I did. Cleanse me, cut the cords of attachment, raise my vibration. And he'll look at you, and you may not see him, but you can go ahead and say, rise. And so imagine that light's coming, God send me your light is coming in. You've asked Michael to help you in this situation. So that light's coming in from all directions into your body, into your soul, and you're shining and it's getting really bright. And then say rise. And then imagine the molecules of that light in you, just in your mind's eye. It's okay to imagine. It's the beginning of creation. That's why we know how to do it. See those molecules in there, that light just moving faster and faster and faster and getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And then say, stay. And then walk around like a beam of light, there was a noticeable difference. I actually felt better. I was in a positive mood. I was like, this is great. I should have learned this, 25 years ago. That would have been good. But the lessons come when they come. So, to raise your personal vibration quickly, usually that's a journey. It's a journey of lessons and choices and decisions, and that is the spiritual journey along the way. But if you need a boost, if you feel like you're getting down too far, getting too low, and you just can't break out of it, decide that you're done and you want to break out of it first, because nothing can interfere with your free will. Okay? And then say, God, send me your light. You could be sitting on your bed, you could sit in the living room, just, glance off for a second. Nobody has to know what you're doing. Don't do it out loud. People think you're crazy. God send me, it's kind of funny. God send me your light. Visualize that light like a beam coming down to the top of your head, hitting you right in the middle of your body. Okay? Right in the stomach. But then see it coming in from all around you. Just like you're just sucking it all in. Now, don't worry about taking it from somebody else. That's a negative thing to do and not what you're doing at the moment. Your intention is everything. Okay? So you're just pulling it from the environment. Okay? And you're pulling God's environment, God's body. We all are housed in the body of God. Okay? So we're pulling in God's light, the light of creation, the highest of vibration. So we're pulling that in and giving ourselves a boost so that our personal vibration rises. And then see it all coming in, and then see the molecules moving faster and faster, getting brighter and brighter, and then say, stay. You can do this as many times as you want, as often as you want. And you will see a noticeable difference. The other thing that happens, is there anything else that you want to do while you're doing this? For self-healing, make a statement. The statement of your will. The will of the soul, speaking through the body, for the body. Tell the body what to do. When you pull the light of creation in you, you can give it a command. Not like, do this now, but like, this is my will. And mean it. You can't be like, no more back problems, but then in the next breath, not really wanting to go back to work because you're waiting for that Social Security check, right? You got to be serious about it. So, when that light comes in, after you say stay, and you've raised your vibration, mine's going in too many directions at once. Then, if you have pain, no more pain. And just kind of see that light just sitting there, wherever that pain is, pushing the negative. Pain is a negative energy. So we're going to push that out. We're going to fill it up with the highest, okay? If you have something that needs to be healed, if you have cancer, see this light, fry the cancer cells and see them in your mind, imagine it, you're creating it, disintegrate. Put it in the center of your body and say, strengthen immune system. Okay? So, but the very act of raising your vibration is going to pull more of the energy into your body that is the energy of creation. And keep your thoughts positive after that. Oh, I'm feeling better. I'm getting better. Oh, I have less pain. I don't have to be sad. I don't have to be mad. I don't have to be upset. Oh, there's hope. Things are going to get better. Start saying things like that, because then so you pull this in, you're creating your physical state. And then when you have it with you, you say, stay. That's important. Now we're creating consciously in your reality. Everything's going to be okay. Say things like that. It's not like we walk around oblivious to everything that's going on in our life, and just like we're stuck in a fantasy world. No. Trust me. Something real happens, you're going to take care of it. You're going to be right on it. But we can and will someday be more active participants in conscious creation in our reality. And the more people that do it in their personal reality, that will affect the collective reality. Okay? Interesting stuff. So as I learn, I'm giving it to you. Now, this is usually something I would teach my students. But something like that, you just have to teach everybody. I mean, I could teach you how to feel better and raise your vibration right now, really, to help us all as an entire team, to get this thing done. But I'll just keep it to myself for people that pay. No, I'm not going to do that. It's not okay. Okay, so all kinds of things going on in the news. I really can't give you a summary, but if you go to Fallawsophy on Telegram, that's where it's at. You're going to be on Telegram if you're not on Telegram. It takes a little bit getting used to. It's like a news feed on a chat on Facebook Messenger. So we have chat groups where everybody's on the same chat. Okay? You can silence your phone. You're going to get a ding every time somebody posts to some of the channels that you follow. When I first got on Telegram, it just filled up the storage on my phone. I'm like, what the hell? How am I? But there, you can go in there and adjust that so that it'll only save posts for a certain amount of time, and then they'll drop off, and so you won't use up all the storage on your phone. I since have bought more and got a better phone, but it'll do that in the beginning. So it is a little bit different. So there's channels on Telegram that you follow. Like my philosophy channel, that's a channel. You can comment on that, and you can, but you can't post on it. Like you can't, the comments, you can comment on one of my posts on my channel. And I have a chat group connected to those comments and those posts, so that will go straight to the chat group. And then we've got a news feed. And then we have a lot of people just join the chat group. And all my posts go to the chat group anyway. And so it's philosophy group chat on Telegram. And there's all kinds of other people. Mike Barrett's got a channel. Susan's got a channel. Marcy's got a group and a channel. Mary's prayer group. Ron's got Lily's Lounge, where they're all a bunch of smart asses over there. But they have fun. That's a fun place to be at night. So get over to Telegram. They have an app. You can get it on your computer. You can get it on your phone. It's really where everybody is now, and their posts, you're going to get the best news. Okay? If anybody messaged you, by the way, if you do that, I also have a Jennifer Fallaw-Doering channel, and that is where I post all the Gentel notes, the shows and the Gentel only. So it's a nice, clean feed. No more news or anything else or comments on that one. Okay. Well, that's where it's at. You should get over there. Oh, if somebody messages you out of the blue, rarely do that. I will ask you to message me for like a promotion or something like that. Or if you message me first, I would reply to you. But I'm not going to cold call message you with some kind of stupid, when you've been with me for years and say, well, thank you for joining my group, blah, blah, blah. No. Mm-mm. First of all, I don't have time for that. Second, I don't bother people. It's bothering people. That's rude, Gotta have some kind of manners, like, oh, hello, blah, blah, blah. Here, let me just interrupt your life for my spam. Totally rude. Okay. But all of you guys, you truthers, you want to call it a truth error? God's the ultimate truth. You're on a spiritual journey if you've joined that movement, whether you know it or not. Okay? Let's start being active participants in our own conscious creation and in our own realities, our own lives, because you will lead by example. People be like, God, everything's kind of going to crap. Why is that person okay? Why does she seem at peace? Why is she yelling and screaming and running around like everybody else? Does she know a secret? She must know a secret. Yeah, I do. Stay centered with God. Prayer, try it. But it's more than that. You should think about your life, because this is the truth and the ultimate truth that they don't want you to know. As you and God on a journey, you and God, let's think about your body as a car. Okay, and I've said this before. It's a review for a lot of you, but some people know. So your body's a car. We and everything here is a separation self of God. And every separation of self must exist at a different vibrational spectrum, dimensions, lifetimes, identities. Long story. But to make it all very simple, best way to look at your life and have a close connection with God, let's think of your body as a car. Who's controlling that car? Well, you are. You're at the wheel. The windshield is your eyes, and the side windows are your ears. And we're driving along in our car. We really don't know how the thing works, and we're really not sure if we're putting the right food in it or right fuel. And, well, I think that's what everybody else is doing, so maybe that'll work. And, we're driving along, and we're hitting potholes and dodging falling trees, and sometimes it's a nice drive, but then, and sometimes there's a lot of people around, and sometimes there's not a lot of people around. But whenever we see somebody, we roll down the window, especially if there's a big group of people, and we say, hey, where are you going? Did you know where you're going? What are you doing? And the guy's like, I don't know. I'm just following this guy. And they both drive off a cliff. And you're like, well, maybe I won't follow him. And it's all so confusing. And we're just on this long journey in this car. And we're like, well, God, I hope this car holds up till I actually get somewhere that I want to be. And we go through all these emotions and these trials and tribulations and everything else. And we never really had to. Because all we ever had to do was look over in the passenger seat. Because God's been sitting right there the whole time. All you ever had to do is say, where do you want to go now? And how do we get there? And I'll say, well, hello. Well, it's nice that you've acknowledged me after 40-something years. Yeah, let's get on track now. Right on. And have that internal conversation with him. In your head. Don't do it out loud. In your head. You want to throw Jesus in the back seat? That's awesome. He'll just be in between the two seats. It's like, yeah, let's go. You and God on a journey in your car. And yes, it can be that close. Yes, it can be that deep. Because that's the ultimate truth, is that as a division, as a piece of God, you had to forget that you're Him in order to be you. And all the things along with it. And He knows that. But He is looking through the same windshield and hearing things through the same side windows. But He's sitting in the background knowing, well, hit the brake, hit the brake, hit the brake. Up, didn't hit the brake, didn't hit the brake. All right, we're doing this now. We're doing this now. And He is hearing and feeling and seeing and experiencing. That is the word. That is the goal. That is the reason for everything. Experience. Experiencing everything through you as you right now. And that is why Jesus said, what you do for them, you do for me. So, how powerless are you now? If He's sitting in the seat with you, if He's not far away on some cloud or in some kingdom somewhere, and oh, that's right. Yeah, I did create something called Jennifer, didn't I? How's she doing? Oh, no, I don't like her. Well, we'll just put a black mark there. Let's throw her in a fiery pit of hell forever. That is why there's so much forgiveness. That is why there's unconditional love. That is why we get mediumship readings, and sometimes we're very surprised. Well, crap, you made it to heaven. God made it to heaven. God knew how to get home. Okay? God knew every reason why you did everything and how you felt about it and how everybody around you felt about it. And so what'll happen, that's why you review your life when you go to heaven. It's like, all right, you ready to review that life? And you're like, give me a little bit. And then you see the lessons and you're like, yeah. It's like, I probably didn't do the best with that. Yeah, totally will do better next time. But that, I nailed that. And so that's how that goes. And that's why people have more than one life. Because as soon as that sliver of God that is you was created, you can be you forever. For as long as there are things to experience. Because everything was created with thought. And once you have one thought, there will be another. And that is why there is a beginning and no end. So, we need to become active participants in the creation of a better life for ourselves in this car and for the people who are driving around you. We don't need to be playing bumper cars on this journey. We don't be slamming into everybody else's cars and giving them a hard time. You need to be the wise ones now. And you are. So let's start doing exercises like this to collectively and individually raise our vibration, shine brighter, block out the negative. Because, full circle back to what I was talking about earlier, if the dark side knows that it's very important that they keep you centered in fear, sorrow, depression, then they know that if you were not, they would lose. So you are not helpless at all. And the more of us who start to think this way, It's contagious. And that energy will grow and it will blend with others. And that light will shine so bright and go out in all directions. Little points of light, little points of light all over the planet. And that will cast out and affect the people who are suffering from dark infringing on them. And they will see that and they'll say, well, I don't want to be this way. I want to be like you. I want to feel better and I want to be happy too. A lot of things that they've done to convince us. First of all, they convinced you, well, Jesus suffered, so you must suffer and you must be like Jesus. All right. Well, I was talking about that the other day. And I asked him, were you starving to death? Were you desperate? Were you an outcast? People gave to me. People fed me. People helped me on my way, is what he said. And it is absolutely okay to want to be comfortable. It is okay to want to have enough funds and things to do and help the people that you love and those around you. We are told that we must suffer in order to advance. We must suffer to be divine. I don't like the whole idea of a sacrifice. I never have. Never have. Because of what I know from God. It's like an instinctual thing. It's like, well, I feel all this like love and if God, as you, see, when you embrace this concept, you don't want to do bad things. Because there's no escaping it. You're together in the car. It's right there. Okay? What are you going to do? Something terrible and then turn around and go, oh, sorry. You know? When you're fully aware that that presence is there, you don't want to do anything bad. All right? So you don't really need all the rules. What was I going to say? Why is it that we were taught to suffer? Why is it that we were taught to stay in such a lowly, depressed, and then they put you in classes in society and they say, well, you're middle class, so you can be kind of okay. All right, now you're poor, so you just be happy that you're alive. All right, now you're rich, you can do anything you want because you're acceptable. Or you're pretty, so you can have all these things for very little effort. But you know, it's just so stupid, and it's like the whole thought of a sacrifice. That's what I was going to talk about. The whole thought of a sacrifice. That seems pagan. I mean, that seems, I don't know if pagan's the right word, but like seems demonic, doesn't it? Why would God ask you to kill a piece of him, and through that piece of him he suffers, like throwing a virgin into a volcano or whatever it is, in order to be well liked or spared? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, Jesus, when they said, well, he sacrificed himself, yeah, he freaking did. Because the way society was at the time and the way they thought, they believed that there had to be a sacrifice. Where are the origins of that? I don't get that. Now, we do sacrifice ourselves in loving ways for others. You know, like when you have children, you just basically sacrifice your entire life. You have no idea who you are anymore for about, I don't know, 18, 20 years. You know, you give it to them. That's loving. That would be the kind of sacrifice, I'd say. a show of strength, let's say through Lent, where you say, well, I really like sugar, but I'm going to not have it, as a show of devotion to you, Lord. That's fine. But to live in a constant state of sacrifice, giving away without agreeing to most of what you make, being lied to and stolen from and kept in a place where, unless you're a certain class of people, or grew up in a family that could afford it, you're not going to get to a place where you can just relax and not have to worry so much about money and survival. Why does somebody have to live and work, and many people sometimes altogether, just to pay off the roof over your head? It's become so controlled and so ridiculous and gone so far over the line. There is no way that it could continue much longer. Logically, there will be a shift, there will be a change, or those classes of people are starting to fall and fall and fall and fall. And you really want to see something ugly is if somebody's used to being rich and now they got nothing, they get desperate. They go crazy, man. The rest of us who've lived at kind of all these different levels, I've been poor, middle class, sometimes I was kind of rich, and now I'm, we know how to live. Okay? We know how to deal with stuff. But sooner or later, if too many people get too far down and get too desperate, they will do desperate things and they will rise up and revolt. And so sooner or later, that dark side is going to have to lose. Oh, they will try to come back. They'll make their plans and gather up their minions and try to influence the others. There will always be villains because of free will. There will always be angels because of free will. But one way or another, this is happening. And we're coming up to the time where it's a climax. It's accelerating. You're seeing it all around you, all kinds of weird things, all kinds of tragedies. There's bombing here and bombing there. Everybody's trying to start a war, and the rest of the people are like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're playing ball with you. Have you ever seen anybody in a period of time try so hard to start a war somewhere? No. And not be successful. Usually, when the cabal was in control, that tells you the cabal's not really in control because they've got minions out there creating chaos, and that's what I always saw coming. But when they wanted to start a war, when they were in full control, boom, we got it. One little incident, now we're in a war. They've been trying to start a world war for a while now to stop Nasara Jasara, to stop the change, to stop the flip in power. And that starts with the money. That's why the money part is important. And there are people who will be lifted out of those certain classes of, lower middle class and poor, and they're going to get way up there because of knowing about this. And some of those people feel very guilty. Like, well, that was too easy. I learned about it. I waited for it, but that would be pretty easy to make all that money. Oh, that can't be possible. You have to suffer and you have to work and you have to all your life, many, many years, and just, to get that kind of money. There's no way it's ever going to happen. And that's the mindset that people are in when we tell them about the RV or we tell them about Nasara Jasara. But if they were just to sit down for a little while and listen to somebody like, well, like me, like what I just said. Say, does that make sense to you? Does it really make sense to you that things should be this way? That it should be so hard to survive? And everybody's like, well, there were people back in history who, lived in huts and they had to, hunt for their food and stuff. And like, all right, well, they didn't have insurance. All they had to do was eat and live. No, they didn't have like medicines and all this stuff, but they had herbs, they had all kinds of stuff. But like in today's society, there's so many things. Everywhere you look, there's some kind of bill. And you got no power over that bill going up, really, unless it's, a structured kind of thing. Do you know my electric bill was $480 last month? Just so I could keep my people warm. And it was a gas price because we have gas fireplace. That's it. I'm like, oh, well, we got to keep the kids warm. I just pay it. $480 in Idaho. I'm not down in California running the air all day long. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And something's got to give, and it will. Okay? That part, we got a lot going on by the military. We got a lot going on by the, quote, white hats and whoever the people we don't know who they are. There's good reason for that. But they told us we were digital warriors. Remember that? That was fun. And then they took it away. Whoever took it away. They took away our power. And so we all sat back and said, oh, we're powerless now. I guess we just wait and listen and watch. Not this group. You are not powerless. You start with you. You start shining, and that's what I mean when I say shine. Raise that vibration. Be that beacon of light in this dark situation. And that fire, that bonfire that you start in yourself, that heat, that energy, that will travel out farther the bigger that fire is, won't it? And when people step into that, they feel it. And they're like, oh, I kind of like that. This doesn't feel like misery, pain, anxiety, or fear. I really, you're like, why are you happy? Tell me your secret. Tell them the story about God sitting in the car. That's the best thing you can do for anybody. The absolute best thing is just a simple thing, so simple. But once you're aware of that, you've got your own guidance. Because all you got to do is listen. You got your own counsel. You got your own protection. You got everything that you need. Because all you got to do is listen. All you got to do is pray, talk to him in your head. That is what's called constant prayer. It's not some monk sitting there reciting and dudes floating off the ground and all that crap. It's a close personal friendship, loving relationship with the Creator. And realizing that as a small piece of him and paired up with him, you don't have to live the life that they have influenced you to create for yourself. You can create a better reality. And the more people that do that will create a better collective reality. So there is no flash. There is no shift from, okay, we're going to go, okay, everybody's 3D right now. Boom, we're all enlightened and everybody's high vibrational and oh, you're left behind. No. People have asked me so many times, when's that happening? I'm like, that isn't happening. Because it's not logical. Nothing divine is forced. You can't just take somebody and say, "Oh, I know that you're suffering, and you like to entertain. You're a narcissist, and you like to entertain negative thoughts and control everybody around you, and cause pain and suffering and all that stuff." But you know what? You believe in 5D, 3D things, so we're just going to push you over. Okay, now you're an enlightened being. Now you're ready. No, this is a personal journey. And what about the teenagers? God knows they're not enlightened. Okay? Biggest pain in the asses you ever met in your life. I was a teenager. And I was selfish. Do you think that if the flash happened then, or we went from 3D to 5D then, that it would be fair that I didn't get to go? Because I hadn't lived long enough to learn anything yet? No. That entire concept is rooted in ego. And that's not okay. To assume that you are a chosen one. And that anybody else's past is less important than yours. And that you are more enlightened. And that you are more loved. More coveted. More important. That's all the dark side's beliefs. That's not what Jesus said. Jesus said we are all brothers and sisters. Well, except for you. He didn't do that. Except for you over there. We don't like you. Okay? You're not 5D. So, sorry. No. We're all going to have to get there. On our own merit, on our own will, and our own decisions. And we have to stop choosing to be afraid. And we have to stop choosing to be sad and depressed and worried and all this other crap. And all the reasons they give us to be afraid, depressed, sad, and worried. We take care of situations when they come. All it is that we worry about is something to do. Something we got to do. Okay? As far as happiness, that's your perspective. That's a choice. And yes, I have learned that personally. And yes, I fall back into the old cycles. Sometimes I win. Sometimes we can win. So let's work on it. Raise those vibrations. Work on it. I want to hear about it. As far as the Gentile this week, I already gave that. But it looks like we had earthquakes. Absolutely. On the Pacific Rim. Keep an eye on that Pacific Rim. Just keep an eye on that. And any information I would like to hear, I haven't had a chance to see. So there's some kind of document that's supposed to be signed for the currency part of the RV to proceed. And it has something to do with Pakistan and the USA. Combined, I don't know. Or maybe there's something in the USA and there's something in Pakistan. But there was something that needed to happen. It was supposed to have happened on Wednesday. Did we get that done? We got half of it done. So I'm thinking one of those two places did something. So if you guys want to dig for that and share it with me on Fallawsophy on Telegram, I'd like to hear back from that because I just really hadn't had time to go and look. So we've got about 10 minutes. Let's get back to the questions because I talk too much. Can you guys just repost your questions now? Because there's always a lot of conversation going on. There we go. I don't agree with having to suffer. God wants us to live in abundance, not lack. That's true. That is true. Because who's having your experience? God. God is having experience as Oregon Farm Girl right now. As Jennifer Fallaw-Doering. As Christine Pachter and Wally Lane and Mary Gould. Yeah. And probably your dog. I mean, if everything is housed within the body of God, then we should be loving to everything. Now, and everybody, and then we get back to people say, well, we have to kill things to eat. Do we? Do we really? But ever since I was a little girl, there's certain things, just odd thought, and it's always a why. Um, ever so often, I'd kind of just like wake up a little bit and I'd be looking at the food and I'd be like, what a strange thing it is to take all this stuff into yourself. And why do we have to do that? I get it. We're supposed to live. You don't eat, you die. And all this water, and then we had to sleep for long periods of time. I mean, what's missing? What are we really doing with that? And what are we really supposed to be eating? Nobody really knows. To this day, everybody's got their theories. And was it the dark side that blocked off in this dimension, their presence in this dimension blocked off so much of God's nourishing energy that we had to start eating each other, or we had to start eating the animals? Maybe. Is it instinctual? This desire to find something that has the energy that has been depleted from us? And if we were, as a society, to remove those like a giant gobstopper with all these layers of negativity that's been cast upon us all this time, if we were to start removing all those layers of it, would more of that light get in? And would you then not have to eat? Probably. Is that why we don't have to eat in heaven? Because I'm pretty sure when you're standing in the heaven dimension, you think you're solid. It's that you don't have the vibration there so high is that the bad guys can't get in and they can't block it. It's like a bug zapper to them. They can't get in. So you've got this constant flow. And you're fully aware that, okay, well, I'd like to put a chair there in this house that I have here in heaven. There's a chair. Because you just created it, just like God did. I just go off and talk too much. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. All right. Now, what's with the bird flu thing and the chickens and the eggs? What the hell? And then Phil did that's what I was thinking about when Phil did. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. He was eating, and I could hear all the sounds of him eating, and it bothered me, so I turned it off. But I like him, don't get me wrong. What was with the eggs? Why eat eggs? And then we have the news of the chickens. I mean, should we stock up on eggs? Girls, get on it. Stock up on eggs. You can freeze them, if you put them in a little, or you can actually put them all in like a Ziploc bag and freeze the whole bag. Girls, get on it. Stock up on the eggs. I have no idea, but we need eggs to make stuff. All right, let's get to the questions. So many questions out here. What do we got? Thanks, Wally. People talking. Oh, yeah, it will happen. It's inevitable. Whether they want to call it that, this dollar's crashing. The only thing they can do is prolong it. And really, there's not much else they can do to prolong it any longer. That's why the goal is to go to gold in May, because they can't keep it up any longer. And they've been trying to do all these things like have wars and do all this stuff. And the people in the countries know that they're like, no, we want to do Nasara. We're not going to play ball with you. We'll mess with you for a little bit, but we're not going to do that. They're not winning. We are winning. Oh, it's time for change. Quite shortly. And you see it. You see the proof of it all around you because of all this weird stuff going on. It's escalation, and all these. I see all these attempts to scare everybody too. She felt like she got hit by a truck over the weekend, had my moments, God answered the prayers, and also, I can't see that. Saged the house yesterday. Sage is good for energies. Okay? That's fine. It's kind of an add. Do it as an addition to what you do with God and with prayer and with the light. Okay? But if you have entities in your home, it's just going to piss them off. They might be irritated by it for a second, but when that dissipates, it doesn't get rid of them. You need Jesus and the angels for that, at least in my opinion, because I've seen that and I do that. Okay, Jen. Do you see us buying the property in Valley View, Ohio after the RV? Denise. Valley View. That's the best possibility. There is some kind of snag. Depends exactly when this thing hits. The timing of whether it'll still be available. If it's not, there's another one that you'll like just as much. Guys, going out for spring break? I wish I was going. Wally went out to the river with us this last summer over here in Idaho, and we, it was supposed to be this huge camping trip, and I got all these camping spots, and hardly everybody backed out except me and my girls and my brother and Wally and his family. We just had a blast. I had a blast. It was fun. I'll have to bring the bikes this time. Is everything going to be okay? Somebody has problems with tires, bring extra whatever you need, fix a flat. I think it's a bike tire. I think it's a dirt bike tire. That's what I'm seeing is like inner tube kind of deal. But other than that, yeah. So bring extra stuff to fix the bikes. Okay. I know, isn't it crazy how he'll say something and then we see it a couple days later, especially when he's got an insight on the silver, I think. But it's gone up. Definitely gone up. He's not a Kennedy. Jen, will the fat burning method that I just learned work for me and others? Can be effective. Yes, share that with me because I always am at war with the fat. I think so, yeah. Who is my main angel? Guide or angel? Because the angels' names, they basically just tell you to call me Frank. All right, because you're not gonna be able to pronounce. It's all a bunch of like crosses and T's and all kinds of. You can't even. I saw writing once in meditation. I was like, how am I supposed to read that? Really weird, unrecognizable. So who is her main guide? Paula. I don't know. It's hard to do over the air. Paula's main guide, come forward, please. Jeffrey. Been with you since birth, will be with you until the end. He helps you mostly lately. Wisdom and contacts is his strength. There are two more. Sounds like Leslie and like Winifred. That's a name. Sorry. So these people, like, they're your guides. Now, whether they're angels or not, I don't know. They're not looking like angels, but they're guides. But that's basically what I see for now. All right, what time is it? What time do I have? Sorry. I need a vacation. I'm making a lot of mistakes lately. Okay, 10:30. I got people at 10:30. That's a Susan Gratz question. Susan, you might want to get on that one. I don't do missing items. I could do missing people, but I'm so emotional. Susan has a really good way of staying. She's very loving and very kind and everything, but she's got a really good way of staying out of the whole situation emotionally. I'm such a strong empath that I just get pulled into the whole thing and I'm just destroyed. And I don't want to see the tragic images. And so, if there were so, and be the one to have to tell you about it. So, I think it's a personal thing for me when it comes to people. The items thing, because empaths read energy, they don't have a consciousness. So I can't find them. Ask Susan Gratz. Or get a reading with Susan Gratz. Am I living on the beach and who am I with? Like right now? Are you confused? All right. I really want a lake house. The water calls. Maybe 2. Well, I could tell you about there's lots of places that you could wade into the water after the RV. And after the RV, you can basically choose where you want to be. It just depends what kind of scenery you want. If you want to wade into the water, I'd do lake water. I don't know. My favorite lake is Lake Pend Oreille in Sandpoint, Idaho. Well, mostly in Sandpoint, most of it. It's like 40 miles long, 1,000 feet deep in places. And it's just so clear and natural. It's just timeless when you're there. You have no idea what year it is unless you're looking around at the other boats. It's just timeless. It's just beautiful and clean and wonderful. And just the energy there is just amazing. Love it. That's where I'd live. Is Mike B correct about thinking the RV will happen next week? He had a strong opinion about it last night on Whiskey. Well, he always has strong opinions. Probably. Unless we get it today or tomorrow, and nothing happens on weekends. We're looking at Monday. I was looking between the 1st and the 12th, so that was my thing, but remember that well, I don't want to go through the whole explanation right now, but it depends on the timeline that we're on and the decisions that are made to keep shifting us from different timelines. I believe so. I believe Nasara Jasara will start to kick off. I think it kind of already has. But there's a point in time where they have to make an announcement to the people because there'll be too many changes happening that cannot be done behind the scenes, that they have to involve the public with. And that's when they'll tell the public, like, we're going to gold. And what I saw is there's a transition time where there'll be 2 prices for things. You'll have a fiat price and then you'll have a gold price. I don't know how like in these other countries, when they have their personal RV, I mean, did they make out better when they exchange? Because it seems to me that we would just have the same amount of money. But, so let's say you had $27,000 in the bank. Okay? Fiat dollars. And they said, we're going to gold. Your balance in the bank has changed to $1,000. 1,000 notes. Gold back notes. And you're like, what? I lost $26,000? No, you did not. That's what 27,000 fiat dollars would equal. Is 1,000. Yes. 1,000 US notes. Okay, well, how do I pay an $1,800 house payment if I no longer, and that says that I should pay it in dollars when I have notes? And I have 1,000 of them. Oh, okay, well, we'll just give you, oh, for a while you can pay your house payment in fiat dollars. And then we'll have to change the whole loan. It's like, at some point in time, how long does this transition last? At some point in time, so we'd have to draft up a new loan for notes, correct? Oh, yeah, just sign this. Oh, hell no. I'm not signing that. I'm not even sending you the payment in notes. Because the contract that I signed and the agreement that I signed was an agreement between both of us that I would pay you $1,800. Dollars are no longer valid. So neither is this loan. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Boom. No more mortgage. I'm just saying, it could happen that way. I think it should. I think it probably will. So if you get something from your mortgage company, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just hypothetically, if a bill were to come from the mortgage company saying, well, why don't you just shoot us on over the smaller amount in notes? And then you agree to pay this balance in notes now instead, and then we'll draft up the different. Oh, I'm not doing nothing. No, thank you. I had that thought the other day, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to explain it all to you, but I just had that thought. All right, guys, I gotta go. I didn't really answer very many questions. How do I feel about the location we're living in? I feel heavy, bad energy here. You. Oh, hang on. Shelley Turner. Need a house cleanse. Marcy, ours. Contact Marcy Howell. She'll know what to do. Pay her if you can. If you can't, throw her a tip. She'll do it anyway. The girls and I have been doing free stuff for many years for people, but be nice to her. Throw her something. Okay. Rehab. 6 months. Let him go. Let him do it. He's going to need it. The longer, the better. He did say that, didn't he? Charlie Ward said it was going to happen in April. Yeah. But he's been awfully quiet for like a year. Came out, we all hated him. And he came out and said, well, it's not happening until 2024. And we're like, no, you're a jerk. We hate you now. We're never talking to you again. That's terrible. How could you do that to us? And they disappeared. And we're like, thanks. Thanks for that. 2024. And it's April. But hey, we made it. All right, we're still kicking. We are survivors. Let's just move forward from here. Let's not even think about all the time we spent waiting on this thing. That's all in the past. Everything's in the past. And the absolute truth is every moment that's gone before now is absolutely gone, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So, why not choose to be high vibrational? Let's choose to move forward. Let's create a better reality. Let's create a better life. Let's be a beacon of light. And let's keep going. We're almost there. Any day now, guys. Serious. You see it all around you. You know it. You feel it inside. Go down that deep place inside and say, what's like a rabbit in the field? What's really going on around me? It's coming. Something's coming. It's the feeling. But it feels more like something good. Like, okay, kind of a bit of bad still in there, but I feel something good coming. I really do. You need to guys start thinking like that. All right, I gotta go. Love you all. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday on Real News Live on Rumble. Go to jenniferfallaw.com. I do have sales on right now. $39 healings. Go and get them. Panicked a little bit the other day and did that. But everybody's really broke, and so I lowered the prices on those. I might just keep it there for a while, but go and get them now because Mama's broke too. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.